Going on, everyone? Welcome, Rabid back in the house, and today I'm going to show you a quick, easy guide onto updating the firmware on your Ipollo Mini ASIC miners. So every time I do release a firmware, right here on my website, there is the latest version. This is 0.86.122, and it is supposed to have a dual mining improvement, and I just posted it here. Now, every time I do mention that there's a new firmware and people download it, I get hit with a ton of messages. What's wrong with my Ipollo? How come it's not working? How do you update the firmware? And so on. So I'm going to quickly show you guys how to do this. And I'm going to do the first one really slow. I do have 5 Ipollos here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll do the first one fairly slow, and then I'm going to jump through the next ones just to get them all done. But there are a few things you got to click, like that little box, which we'll look at in a minute. That way you don't run into any issues. All right, so after you get it downloaded, simply log into your Ipollo miner, come down to the left-hand side here to firmware upgrade. Now, this is a very simple process, guys. We're just going to hit the flash image here, browse to wherever we did download it. I'm just going to make sure I'm in my downloads folder. Here is the latest version that I downloaded, and hit open. Once that's there, hit the upload button. Next, it's going to come up to that check mark part. Here it is. So keep settings and retain the current configuration. You do not want this checked. Uncheck this. A lot of people run into issues by keeping this checked. You do not want to maintain. Everything's going to reset. It's going to be default settings, but it's going to save you a lot of hassle moving into here. So make sure this is not checked, and then simply hit the continue button, and now it's going to begin flashing. That's it. That's all you got to do. And then you got to reset up your pool and everything at that point. So now I'm going to quickly update the other one. So I'm going to go into firmware here, flash, browse, pick the firmware, and go. Same process throughout all of these things over and over and over again. Remember, uncheck that box, hit continue. Okay, so I got them all updated. Now you simply just wait a few minutes. Now you can keep an eye on the firmware up top here. As you can see, it's still saying 80, but eventually if you just leave it on here, it's going to do a reboot process and everything, and the firmware will adjust to the current version that you're uploading. Now, if after like maybe 5 to 10 minutes, it doesn't actually update there on the dashboard itself, just hit the refresh button. You might have to re-log in and then it'll happen. But most of the time, you will see this firmware update version just change while it's still saying this flashing thing. All right, so here you can see we're at 86.122. It did update in the dashboard. The other ones, oh, that one just did. This one's probably going to very soon, but you can see that it is showing in the dashboard. Now just wait maybe another minute or so just to be sure, and it will be safe to hit that refresh button. All right, so I am going to hit refresh now. Simply hit that. Now we're going to have to log back in. Log in here. And now you can see we are on firmware version 0.86.122. We're now on the latest version. So we're going to have to go to our miner configuration. Everything is back to defaults because we unchecked that box, but that's okay. At least we're not bricked. At least we're not running into issues. Sometimes you can't get back in your dashboard and you got to do complete resets, but make sure you unclick that checkbox. It's pretty key when it comes to updating the firmware in these. Now it's pretty simple. You just simply point towards the pool you were previously mining on. Depending what you're mining on, myself, it's etc+zil. So I got to make sure I'm on etc hash depending on the current Ipollo version you have. All the 3.6 gigabyte versions, the mini etc and the etc mini plus, they only have the etc hash here, and the other ones do have ETH hash that you can switch to as well, and they got the 6 gigabytes around. Regardless, I can only have one option here, so I'm gonna have to stick with that. So we're gonna get rid of all these stratums, point all the worker names off, get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this. So password X, most of the stuff should be saved in here by default. I want to find out which Ipollo is this. So you want to name them the same way I had them named before. Here's a good thing to point out. A lot of you guys might get this alert message too. E1 fan, low speeder error. That's just because it's kind of booting right now. Everything's not fully in sync. This is normal. It will go away. But I got to figure out what the Ipollo name of this miner actually is. This is my SC Plus, Apollo Mini, whatever the heck it is. All right, so I think I do have all my miners set up now. I saved them. Again, you can see ETC hash. Let's go to one that has both algos. Now here we have ETC or ETH hash. So I'm on ETC hash. Now if you're by default, these kind of move back to ETH hash. And if you do want ETC hash, it's going to reset everything to the defaults because you set everything for the wrong algorithm. So make sure you do click this first. It'll save you a little bit of a headache. And as for etc+zil, I do find K1 pool to be the best ZIL pool out there, followed by Crazy Pool, I believe, in second. And then the rest are pretty much trash when it comes to ZIL mining. Just saying. We'll go back into our original miner. We'll go back to running. You can see the fan thing, everything disappeared. It updated to the miner name and everything. So that's my issue. I didn't really know what miner it was at first because it wasn't fully updated everything yet. But we can see everything is now, if you get the issue with the fan and stuff, just wait a little bit longer, it will go away. So now we're loading up the DAG files and we're all ready to go on the latest firmware. After a couple days, I'm going to revert back and we'll check out to see how much of an improvement this has in dual mining, but that's for a later video. Thank you for checking this out. Hopefully it helped you set up your Ipollo miner and a firmware update. I'll see you on the next one. Rabid out.